Hey everybody, it's Jake from the podcast here. We recorded this episode a few weeks ago before the recent ICE raids in my native Los Angeles and other cities around the country, along with the protests and community defense actions that followed and the police and military crackdowns on people defending their neighbors and loved ones. Since our discussion of Walking Tall includes plenty of talk about fascist fantasies where a strong white Christian man drives out immoral interlopers with brutal violence, and the role of these fantasies in current deportation rhetoric, we wanted to acknowledge what's happening right now. Human beings doing their best to eke out some dignity for themselves are being hunted down and attacked by marauding agents of the state at their places of work, at their homes, at their elementary schools, at their places of worship, and they're being disappeared. People with even the audacity to say, hey, stop doing that, are being brutalized by cops and then slandered by ostensibly liberal electeds and media figures. The cops, ICE, the National Guard, all of these agents of state violence are the ones who pose a threat to public safety, not the 1/10 of Angelenos who are undocumented, or the protesters yelling at riot cops on horseback, or the couple people who've thrown something at an insured armored vehicle full of guys who want to shoot them dead. There are a million ways you can push back against this wherever you are, whether it's joining a protest in person, providing protest support, calling hotels where ICE agents are staying to demand their removal, contributing to mutual aid or legal aid or bail funds, sharing stuff on the computer, whatever. You can do something. I saw people in Omaha who were blocking an ICE truck with their bodies, so you can do something. There are a lot more of us. Now here's our stupid and bad podcast.
Hey folks, Jake from Pod Casty For Me here. This is a preview of a bonus episode from our Patreon feed, Paid Costly For Me. If you like this and you want to hear more, you can head on over to patreon.com/podcastyforme, where for $5 a month, you can get a new bonus episode every other week. That's patreon.com/podcastyforme. Enjoy!
Walking Tall, if you, the listener, had access to the spreadsheet where we kept our Patreon ideas, you would find this probably at like row 3 after Death Wish or something.
So why?
Before Rat Boy.
Yeah, that's right.
But we never got to it.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Joe Don Baker, the wonderful character actor, passed away, age of 89, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was an outpouring of appreciation that I think surprised some folks, at least on my sliver of the internet. Like, wow, this is maybe more we love this guy than one might have assumed for a character actor who's been inactive for a while. But just a great face, great figure of the cinema. We saw him in Charlie Varick not too long ago.
We did. It came out the same year as this, I believe.
Same year. And also he is a great fixture in the late 80s miniseries Edge of Darkness, which is in the traffic. It's the type of thing that got turned into the movie Traffic. Edge of Darkness, in fact, was directed by Martin Campbell, the GoldenEye guy who brought Joe Don Baker into a couple of the Bond films.
Like 3 different Bond films as different characters or something.
2 different characters, I believe.
2 different
across.
Yeah.
All right. And then Martin Campbell made a movie version of Edge of Darkness with Mel Gibson, I think.
Yes, I think that's right. It was like around the time of The Beaver. That's kind of
next
weird.
Subject of this show, Mel Gibson. Just kidding.
No.
Parody.
Yeah.
Joe Don Baker, always a welcome sight. He's in Joe Dirt, which we've talked about on the show as being a good movie.
Which, I mean, he's a character actor. You know, this is like maybe the period in his career where he crosses over into being like a protagonist or a star for a little while in small and medium budget films.
But I think as a direct result of this film.
I think so too. But I think for the most part, people know him as somebody who appears in the film as maybe like you're saying, like in a Bond film as either a kind of skeevy guy or like an old coot or something. I think as we get into the 90s and early 2000s, he takes on these still like big supporting roles, like immediately recognizable supporting roles. And I would, if I had to guess, I think that's where the popular love for him comes from. He's the kind of actor who, like, you pick almost any quadrant of movie watching for anybody over 20 and they have a film where Joe Don Baker appears that they love. So
yeah,
I think that's
exactly
pretty special.
he was kind of the consummate. He was one of these Southern guys.
Yep.
It's him and M. Emmett Walsh. I think were two of the type of Southern heavy who might show up. Then later, is it J.T. Walsh? Is that guy's name? Who was another Southern heavy?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. And I think Baker exuded not just like sort of physical menace, but he also reads as smart, generally. He reads as cunning, as clever. He shows up in, wasn't he just in, is he in The Underneath or something? Didn't we see him recently? Yeah, he's in The Underneath.
He was in The Underneath, yeah, that's right.
Yep. Mars Attacks, Cape Fear, Scorsese's Cape Fear.
Incredible, yeah.
Leonard Part 6, the Bill Cosby film I threatened to cover on the Patreon.
You did,
Fletch, great film. And he's is in the apparently unwatchable 1977 Western horror film The Shadow of Chikara with Sandra Locke.
I've heard of which we've talked about this on Pod.
We've talked about, which was a real auteurist project by a guy named Earl E. Smith that was shot like entirely in Yellville, Arkansas. And apparently Clint flew out and spent his days fishing in Yellville.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, the road to Yellville, is that anything? No, it's not. Cool Hand Luke, Guns of the Magnificent Seven. He's certainly around the stuff that we talk about. There's Will Sloan, past guest of this show, wrote a great remembrance of him that includes one of the things for which he is probably best known to, like the particular type of I don't want to call them freaks, degenerates who listen to this show, which of course is the film Mitchell, which was lampooned by those freaky robots on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, yes.
And then Final Justice was another Mystery Science Theater. I never really got... Were you an MST3K guy?
I wasn't, which maybe is surprising, like you're saying, to listeners, because we are kind of in the crossover of liking to goof on stuff and also liking to talk about kind of niche films. But I don't know. It felt like this is not even a slight on them. I think just when I was young and people were watching it, I wanted to either be watching comedy or be watching films. But not really.
Me too. And I found it like too fat. It almost felt like when you're learning Spanish and then you like watch Spanish television.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know
this is the real stuff. Yeah.
I know a lot of these words, but like they're going too fast for me to sort of engage with their meaning, their content.
Yep.
My high school girlfriend's family was big. They were big MST3K family. And so it was also, I think, my onboarding, my attempted onboarding to that whole world. It was like, to continue the metaphor, like watching Telemundo with like the people who are on Telemundo. Like you guys are so ahead of me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get in here.
Yeah. It doesn't really like make you want to do it in your free time because you have an association of
Guitar
anxiety.
101 with Yngwie Malmsteen, It's like you seem impatient with me. But that's the way that a lot of people know Joe Don Baker. And so he died at 89. I hope he was aware of the appreciation that many people had for him.
I hope so
and,
too.
Of course, one of his biggest roles was the film Walking Tall, which is roundly in the Dirty Harry aftermath. Yeah,
we got 2 years after Dirty Harry. I think there's almost not a contemporaneous review that doesn't mention Dirty Harry, unless they're the ones that are like responding to other reviews that have already mentioned Dirty Harry, because either they are lumped together or people are trying to identify some type of contrast, whether in setting, in the manner of Joe Don Baker versus Clint Eastwood, whether the politics are the same or there's some type of substantive difference. A lot of questions I think we'll be talking about also momentarily.
You think those are going to come up?
Yep.
Want to hear the rest of the episode? Go to patreon.com/podcasty for me and sign up for just $5 a month. We're sorry we do this.